Hello, hi, it's Liz here, and today I'm going to make a simple one signature, no spine, 3-hole pamphlet stitch journal. So I got these a while back from the charity shop, and I've been hoarding them a bit. Yeah, I've had them for a good while now, I suppose. Because I don't know, I was waiting to collect some more bits and bobs, some sewing type, maybe patterned paper and other things that I would want to put in the journal, and just to make it a wee bit fancy inside, but not too fancy, because I'm wanting this to be quite a beginner's journal. So anyway, I got 5 of these, and they're really cool. Look, this is my favourite one, and I haven't used it yet because I wanted to do a couple so that I knew that I was able to do them. They're really quite old. Oh, that old bit of sellotape just came off there. You can see how old they are. But doesn't she look like Dusty Springfield? Gorgeous. I think that'll make a lovely cover. This one I'm not sure about. It's a wee bit dull, but this and this, beautiful. And the one I chose to do my first make, this orange and yellow, and I put the back of the packet on the back of the journal. Let me open it and I'll give you a quick look before we start making one. I got a crocodile for my Christmas, so this is my first go with my crocodile. That worked quite well. And the inside is actually, well, the cover, not the inside, the cover is an envelope just folded in two, and I trimmed it down a little bit to fit. So that's the cover, and then I just cut the packet and stuck the front of the packet and the back of the packet. Then I hadn't done anything on the inside, so it was just still the envelope, and it didn't look very nice. And my sewing went a wee bit off here and down here, so in the inside it was a little bit squinty. So I decided to stick the pattern, part of the pattern on the cover, on the inside, and I thought, yeah, it worked okay. So anyway, this is a quick flip through before we start. So it's got a little charm, a little sewing machine charm. It's got this, which was from a blouse, and a little felt flower, just a little floppy piece of, just a bit of fun, a bit of sewing fun on that page. This is a part of the pattern, a little, this silk ribbony sari silk, just sheds threads like nobody's business. There we are. A little cluster there, a little felt flower, a little pocket there, another piece of the sewing, a little pocket here, and it's been stitched around. That's the centre with just some embroidery thread for sewing it together for the pamphlet stitch. A little bit of pom-pom, another little cluster here, a little bit of the sari bundled up and sewn down the middle there, the side. 2 other little charms. That one says handmade with love, and a little button charm. A little felt butterfly there, a little bit of material that you can have a wee secret journal spot. Another little pocket there with a felt flower, and the back has this, I think that's bias binding trim, and that's the back. So yeah, I was really actually quite pleased with how it turned out, and I thought I want to make a second one, so we will do that now. It's really easy. I've got some things prepped because I can't stop myself coming onto the camera and not being prepped. So this one, slightly different because I think I used a smaller envelope. No, I cut, yes, a smaller envelope. And before I stitched round, I have attached 2 pieces of vintage book page on the inside so that it'll have a better finish, I think, than the other one. The inside is from this old book, which is 1930 something, I'm sure. Yep, 1934. It's a great book for collage because it's got all these little stitchy things, and I thought, yeah, that'll be perfect for the inside of a stitchy sewing type journal. So it's just an envelope folded over with the front of the pattern and the back of the pattern, and yeah, and I'm going to stitch round with the machine, but you don't need to do that if you don't want to. I'm going to go round the front and round the back, but we're going to do all the stitching at once, so I'm just going to leave that to the side. And this is the signature I've put together, which will go in there. Yep. So for this one, I haven't decorated any of the signatures yet. I've got my little bundle here that I'm going to use to decorate. Some nice sewing machine fabric, a little bit of lace from a second-hand blouse, a little bit of Harris tweed, and some pieces of vintage magazine or vintage pattern there, that a little flower, and this is off the pattern package as well. And I've got a few pieces of ribbon and sari silk and bias binding, so we're going to use that to decorate. But let's go through the signature and do a few things before we decorate. So I've got, this is just a piece of scrapbook paper that I had, as is this, which is plain just on the other side, so that's good. You've got plenty journaling spot there. This is another piece of scrapbook paper, and this has got a fold in it, which is going to be a pocket. So I'm just going to do the little notch just now. Let's put it upside down so that we can see where we are going, and roughly in the middle we'll just take a little notch out. So that one will be stitched here or to 2 sides. This is a piece of the pattern. This is a flip out piece, which is, again, I think that came free with a magazine, that scrapbook paper. This is another piece of scrapbook paper that just was in my scrap box. Piece of plain paper, and then this was a little bit of 6x6. You can see the join there, and I just joined it up, so you can't see the join on the other side, but you can see the join here. So I'm just going to put something down that join, and I was thinking maybe I would use the piece of patterned, the piece of packaging from the or I've got this as well from the other scrapbook page from when I trimmed it down. I think actually the pattern stands out more. I think I quite like the, I suppose that would be more authentic, but I do quite like that. It adds a little bit of contrast, I think. I'm going to use this, so we need to trim that down a little bit. So if we stick it on there, Let's just cut that bit off just now. This will just reinforce that join. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just use my glue stick. How good does that bread look on that old magazine that I use for gluing? It looks yummy. I've got a cheek. This morning we went over, well, we did a little bit of shopping, a little bit of food shopping, and then we went across the road from where we stay. There is a little, well, it's not that little, a man-made loch, and there's a castle. It's not, it's more a kind of keep, like a mini castle. It's just one tower, but it's still a castle, called a castle. The castle obviously was there before, so that'll just strengthen that join. The castle was there before the loch was there. So here's another pocket, and we'll just put this one on. And as part of the loch, there's swing parks, and there's a bird, because they get geese and swans and whatnot. There's a kind of bird sanctuary place, a little shed, and there's a wee island on the loch, and there's swing parks and whatnot, and benches all round. And there's also a little building which is got up the stairs, got a coffee shop, and we never ever really bothered with it because it wasn't dog friendly, and we didn't really like to go inside these days. But hubby was there the other day and it's now dog friendly, so we were there this morning and I had a fruit scone fresh out the oven. Right, now we're ready to stitch. So I'm going to stitch round here, and I'm going to stitch these pockets closed. That's what I'm going to do on the machine. Oh, there's a pocket here that needs... There we are. Right, I've done everything. I've got that pocket. Right, yes, I think that's everything. Yes, that's not a pocket, that's just a flip out bit. Okay, I shall be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay, that's the stitched round the edge there, and stitched obviously on the back too. So yeah, pleased with that. And the pockets have been stitched up as well. So I've got a pocket with stitching round there, and one here, and one near the back there. So let's do a little bit of decoration before we attach it all together. So I've got a little bit of this bias binding. I think I maybe called it seam binding earlier, not sure. Anyway, I'm trying to find a nice page, so I'll maybe put it on this back page. Go quite nice there, I think. Yes. Right, let's get this down with some of this glue here. Ugh. That's a bit yuck. Anyway, that's it. Right, so let's just take this page out and just a little bit up one side, because this binding opens up, but we'll do one side at a time as it opens like that. And we'll just slide that in there like that. We'll just leave a little bit to get cut off. That was easy. I've had this in my stash for, oh wow, you're maybe talking 15 years, maybe, a long time. So I'm glad that it's finally, because it was bought, well, when I used to just make cards all the time, so the other side, and it was bought because I really liked it, and I thought I'll find a use for that in my card making. I never ever did. It never really did the trick for the cards. So it's been in a little container for a long time. And it's lovely too. So now that I've found journals and making journals, and I'm finding that I'm getting to use up things that were bought and never used, and that peeks out a little bit, so that's quite nice. Right, so I've got this little bit of lace, and I've got this piece of fabric. So I was thinking I would make pockets with them, and I'm going to put, I think, the lace here. And just maybe need to sew that, because I don't think that would stick properly. So I'm going to put that one there. And where will we put the fabric? Oh, here I think. And again, I think that'll need to be stitched. So we'll just leave those pieces in place for the moment until we decide that we're going to stitch anything else, and then I can do it all at once. So now I've got this little bit here to make a cluster from this Harris tweed. It's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, it's lovely. And I don't know if I want to give it pride of place on that first page. I think I do. Let's just get a little bit off there. There we are. If anybody in the Hebrides is watching this, I doubt very much if they are, but if they are, oh no, what's she doing? What's she doing to the Harris tweed? And that blue and pink goes perfectly with that. I think we'll go for that. So we'll just stick that down one bit at a time. Ooh, some air. I think this is nearly finished, and I don't need it covered, I just need enough to do the middle. Oh. think I'm going to have to sit it upside down in my cup. Do you do that? Do you sit your glue upside down in a cup? So that you don't need to squeeze it so much when the time comes. Yeah, it's definitely nearly done. I'll need to get onto Amazon and speak nice to Mr. Amazon and see if he'll bring me some tomorrow. There, that's pretty. So, what else have we got? We've got these two pieces of vintage from a sewing book. These came in a package from an Etsy shop. Let's see. Maybe just do a direct stick there, I think. Yep. Paper to paper, so let's just use a glue stick and not faff about with that glue that's nearly done. So yeah, so we were out this morning and we had a scone, and they were just out the oven. And the girl said, "Are you here for breakfast or is it a scone?" I said, "Oh, I think we're here for coffees and scones." She says, "Well, the scones will be 6 minutes." 6 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm happy to wait 6 minutes. Right, where will we put this other piece? And I'm just going to leave it all wobbly. It's a bit of interest, isn't it? I think we'll put that there. Don't want to think too much about this. I just want it to be a nice, easy one. And so there's plenty journal space there. Now I've got these cards for my pockets, so let's fill the pockets. These are these Project Life cards. We'll put this one in here. That's going to be stitched. I think that's too big for that. Let's pick a littler one. This one, I think, goes better with the yellow there. And we could maybe put, want a big one go in there? Nope. But we could put 2 in there. I'm not going to put tags or anything on them, little bits of ribbon or anything. I'm just going to leave them. Does it look better with 1 or 2? Oh, that looks quite good with it peeking through. That'll do. Right, and with that to stitch on, and I've got a little bit of sari silk. Does this open up? Yep. And I'm thinking we'll put that down the edge but ruffle it up a bit. So let's see what we've got. It would be nice there opposite that blue. We'll keep a finger in that page. Oh, it would be nice there on opposite the blue there. I think we'll maybe do that. It's got little bits of beading on it, see that? Right. Okay, I'm going to sew up the middle of it, but I'm just going to put a little bit of glue up the side there so that I can just ruffle it up. Is that going to stick? Now I wonder, because I won't be able to stitch through those beads. I'm going to have to be super careful at that bit and stop and start, I think. I can ruffle it up while I'm going through the machine, but I just thought a wee bit of glue would help me. I wasn't sure if you were in shot there. There, that's a ruffle. And I'll just cut that little extra bit off there. And we'll stitch that when we're up doing the other two things. So I think I'll go and stitch the two fabric pockets on and stitch that fabric on, that sari silk on, and I'll be back. Right, that's everything stitched. I have stitched down the piece of sari silk, and I have stitched round this pocket and put a little journal card in there, and I stitched on the piece of old lace and put a little card in there. So it's coming along, it's filling up nicely. I don't want to overdo it, but I do have two more things I want to add. I definitely want to put in this little piece of leftover from the packet, and I was thinking this plain blue might do the trick here if I just attach that from there to there. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So get the braid in. And we'll just give this a coat of glue stick, and then just straight onto the page. And we'll just trim it off the top there. Yes, that's better, takes away from the plain blue a little bit. And I've also got this felt flower, which again has been in my stash for the longest time, and I'm thinking, where will we go with this? I could have it here in the corner, so we'll keep a finger in there. That's fine, that's got its new piece. That's quite plain there, but it's okay because this is quite boldly patterned. That's going to be the middle. That's got a pocket, that's got quite a pattern. Let's get the pocket, nice plain piece. Yes, so here in the corner. And I think, yes, these are sticky backed, quite strong sticky. I wouldn't normally be fussed over gems, but you know, a little bit of bling doesn't do anybody any harm. So, yeah, what do you think? That's a nice wee journal, isn't it? It's quite cute. Little sewing journal. Now, so I'm just going to straighten up everything. I'm going to do my 3 stitches. Yeah, 3 holes, I should say. And then I've got my little tin of charms. These are just the charms I picked out that are to do with sewing. So I've got another sewing machine, and I've got a few butterflies. I've got a little, look at the scissors. I've got a little pair of scissors and some buttons. So we'll put a couple of charms on at the end. And I've also got a nice piece of ribbon as a closure. I'll do the eyelets and I will put the closure on just the same as I did, or similar to this. Yeah, I think so. Crash bang wallop there, sorry about that. Right, so let's sew them together. I'll just make sure that everything is in the right place. That looks okay. And there we have the middle. That'll do. Yep. Okay, so let me just, is that going to reach? No, a bigger one. I'll just do that just now. I don't normally use a clip all that much, and I'm just going to do this by eye. I know, you know, but it's just a simple one signature straight through to the cover binding. It's not a difficult one, so I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants. And I'm going to do the middle. Now I haven't organised my needle and thread yet, so through there I'm going to do one hole at a time, but I am going to go and organise my needle and thread. Right, I've got my needle and thread, and I picked out the blue, but the blue is totally wrong shade of blue, I think, because that's more a tealy turquoise and this is more a proper blue. So I've gone with the orangey red to match the waistcoat rather than the blue. It's not a jumpsuit, just a trouser suit, a waistcoat trousers. So yeah, so that blue doesn't work, and so I have the red. So I just left it here, didn't I? I had just poked a hole there, so we're just going to take that out, and that will roll about, so I'm just going to keep my scissors there to stop it from falling off, and we just go through there. So that's the middle, and if this goes totally pear-shaped while I'm filming, you will notice that the camera will very quickly go off because it's not the most fun to do on camera. So we're leaving a tail, and then we're going to go up about halfway. So another hole here, and I'm going to come through that. To take that out, and I'm going to hope. There we are. So we've come through and we've come out through from the front to the middle again, And now we're going to jump straight down to the bottom, and we're going to do approximately, so there's 3 scissors, and so maybe about here. That looks about right. And we're going to go through there. We're going to lift our needle again, take that out and go through there. So the next bit is the trickiest bit, because we're going to go back through the middle, but we won't want to catch any of that thread. So we're going to go back through, and it never goes through, ever, never, ever, ever. So I'm just going to do that again, just to bring it all into line, and then give it another go. Nope. Am I going to have to do them one at a time? I think I am going to have to do them one at a time. Right, let's try this time. Straight out and straight in. Yay. There we are, never give up. So now we want to be on the opposite side. There we are. And then we want to give it a gentle tug. Let's just take all our bits out. We want to give it a gentle little tug to make sure that the things are quite taut, and tie a wee double knot. I would have said a reef knot or a granny knot. And then I'm just going to do a little bow. You could attach little dangly bits or charms or whatever, beads to the ends, but I just want to keep this one fairly simple. Here we are. Snip, snip. And this is when you discover they're in upside down. No, we double checked that, didn't we? So that's it, all sewn in. Rather nifty. Right, so now a couple of we want to do our charms, and we want to put the ribbon on. I'm wondering if we want just the ribbon tied on to this one. This ribbon, oh, I don't know if I like this ribbon now. It's quite stiff and quite... What do we think? It's quite a stiff ribbon, whereas the sari silk is quite... I wonder if I could try and find a bit of blue sari silk. Might be better, because this is really quite stiff. We'll leave the charms just now. I'm going to go and find a bit of ribbon. I found a better piece of sari silk, and I've just haven't done the little what do you call them, grommets, what do you call them? Oh, anyway, the wee round things, the wee metal round things, can't remember what they're called now. They're not brads, they're do you know, the camera comes on and you lose half your words. So anyway, they're not done, and I just thought that was quite nice, just wrapped round. Whereas this one just has the tie closure through the little unnamed round things, and it leaves the front, but this is quite nice against the blue. So let's just add a couple of charms, and I've just wrapped that round so that can come off completely, and we will add a button and a handmade with love on the one, and a little sewing machine to another bit. And we'll just attach these with some of these, two of these light bulb safety pins. Is that right? I think that might be what they're called. A silver one and a bronzy coloured one. There we are. And we'll fit these on. Well, we'll certainly put one onto this. So I'm just simply going to go through the two charms. And then just through that piece of lace. Oh, towards the other bit of it. See, in that one, there was more. There was two pieces of seam binding. I wonder if we should put seam binding on another. It needs to be this one. I think we'll add seam binding down here, and we can put the other charm on there, because I've got a different one. That'll be pretty. So 2 seconds does this. Should really have done all this before it got stitched up, but this is just down the edge. Let me just going to use the glue stick because this is quite lightweight. I think this video is turning out longer than I expected it to. I thought this will be done in jig time, but I don't think it is. I thought I was quite organised. Well, I am quite organised, but it all just takes a bit longer than what you expect, don't it? But we're having fun, there's no rush. Right, let's just chop that. And all because we wanted to add a charm. That's fine. And let's get our little sewing machine on here. I'll put it further down so that it doesn't bump into the other. Charm. There we are. Clatter bang again. There. They're prettier down the side, aren't they? and that's another wee bit sticking out. So I think that's me. I'll just wrap this round. Get a little bow tied. Should have done a final flip through. Oh, you've seen it loads of times, haven't you? So, yeah. Phew. There we are. I don't like doing these, sewing in these on camera, but it wasn't too bad. Okay, I'm off now, and yeah. So thanks for joining me today, and if you've liked the video, a thumbs up would be much appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.